Hello, welcome to another update video with myself and Mr. Scott. We are here doing this so that we did this a couple weeks ago. We're trying these live streams just because that way we can make announcements and people can have, if they have questions, they can ask us. Oh, weird. Scott's in two places at the same time. He's backstage and he's in chat. He's everywhere, this guy. So welcome. We're going to try to make this a regular thing, where we could just always give you updates on it. It's basically, it's what I was doing before on the website, but we're doing it live. And we're also trying to make it a bit more kind of like retrospective as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that have been going on in the community. We'll talk about some things that are in development, some things that are actually happening soon. And sometimes just talking about maybe important things that are going on in the industry. There's, for instance, there's a company that's hiring a lot of people, and we want to give everyone the heads up. That could be the kind of things that happen, and we might even just kind of almost turn into an animation news channel at some point down the road. But for tonight, I think we have a couple little updates to definitely share with you. So let's bring in Scott to enlighten us with all the things. Hello, Scott.
Heyo, how's it going?
How are you? Good. How are you? I see you've created some sort of artificial wall behind you.
No, this is my actual wall.
Oh, really?
That's always been there. It's been I've had a backdrop
that's what it was. Okay.
But I'm thinking of upgrading it, but I had to shoot. You can see the cameras kind of there.
Oh yeah, I see it. I see the one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been shooting a crowdfunding video against that bookshelf, and
got it.
I tell you what, like if I showed you the photo, like I have my chair there, like all these lights, and I was like, I just wish I had a actual studio.
Oh,
so nice.
Are you not jealous? Like you see these YouTubers and they have like these, like especially ones that are, that have been doing it for a while, and then they like literally they create, like some of them are buying new houses and then their entire basement is like a studio and it's all like soundproofed. Oh my God.
Yeah, and I'm doing this like trying to like get through the door because I've got my microphone cord, and like I have so much respect for cameramen because they have to like bury themselves in corners.
It's crazy. Honestly, the things that they will do for a shot, I'm telling you. And I know the feeling. I mean, until I bought a couple of these lights I have here are actually mounted to my desk. If I turn them off, you can see how dark things get. These things are like they're very convenient. I used to use a much nicer light, which is right here. It's a big like an aperture 120D, kind of like a YouTube special. Like it's a very good video light. With a big softbox, but the problem is it has to sit on a big L stand, and it's right in the doorway to get to our big chest freezer, and so Christine and I are always tripping on it just getting that room. So it was time to.
Yeah. Like, actually, one thing I've wanted to ask you and David all the time is what web cameras do you guys use? You get this nice depth of field. Like, is that anything special?
Not a web camera. This is actually a Sony 6100, an A6100. It's one of the very early Sony Alpha cameras. It's mirrorless with a pretty nice lens on it. It's a 16 millimeter 1.4 lens by Sigma. It's awesome combination. I did it a while back just because I just wanted a nicer look to the streams. I have another camera that I was using for the recordings. That was but. It just there's no such thing as a nice webcam. They all have these teeny weeny little sensors, and so you never get any real depth, because what makes it feel nice is the depth of field. Is my background, which is usually pretty messy, is at least soft on the eyes. So
that's how I feel half the time. Okay.
That's I can throw you some specs and some options if you want, if you're curious. David did something similar, but he went I discovered that there was a older Nikon camera, because he's got a bunch of Nikon glass. He was kind of hoping that he could just use that. And there was a bunch of Nikons that people found out, like DSLRs that were hackable to turn into kind of like to make them more like kind of a video camera. Because the problem with a lot of those, you couldn't send out a clean HDMI signal. And so, but they're very cheap cameras now, because they're so old that no one wants to use them for photos, and you can't really by default use them for video. But if you want to spend the time and actually, hack it, and you use a different firmware, you can actually suddenly unlock this potential. So that's what he did. So he decided to go the hacker route. And,
yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, I tried using this one over here, but I don't know. It was just out of sync, or it was just too jittery. I don't know. Something wasn't working right, so I just got rid of that idea.
Well, I mean, I can help try to troubleshoot. I've done a lot of that. It's I nerded right out when we were trying to find a good combo. Hey, Lucio, what's up, bud? You doing good?
Is that Lucio from Montreal?
It is Lucio from Montreal. Absolutely. Do you know Lucio from Montreal?
I think I worked with him at Mr. X for a very short amount of time.
Oh yeah, no way. That's funny.
Yeah.
Lucio knows everybody.
Yeah, he does. There we go.
The connection has been made.
Yeah, awesome.
Small world.
All right.
Small world. Okay, so Agora update number 2 between the Scott and Brent special Agora updating situation. So you start. I got a couple things on my side. I'm sure you have a couple things on your side. What do you want to talk about first?
Yeah, absolutely. So the podcast. Let's give a little update on that. I have
good idea.
Successfully recorded intro and outro little stinger that we're going to be putting on the start and the end. Okay. So now I just need to filter it out, just get rid of all the heavy breathing and that sort of thing, and then I'll be throwing together our first kind of podcast.
Very cool. And people can find this podcast where?
Oh, it's going to be on Spotify. I think it might be on Apple, but yeah, it's going to be in a whole different places.
So pretty much all the usual places.
The usual suspects, yeah. No. So that'll be good. And then we're going to break down. So I think we were talking about it last time, but we're going to break down those content of the day clips, and I think we're just going to throw them up in there. I was contemplating whether I take those clips and just throw them all together, but it's going to turn out to be a long form anyway. Like it'll end up going for 45 minutes still. So I think if we break them down into those like 5-minute, 6-minute chunks, they're just going to be easily digestible straight onto the next one.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I think that's the coolest part about this plan, is that it gives people a really easy way to get caught up on some of the conversations we've been having, and especially when you go for the condensed version, it'll be fun because it'll just be like the little tidbits, the big takeaways, the highlight reel, I guess, of the conversation.
Well, the problem it's not a problem. It's a good problem to have if it is a problem, but we've got so much content and little snippets from these conversations that you and David have that they're booked out. Like content of the day is going to be rolling out until October, probably end of the year right now. So and there might be some really good relevant stuff. So I think we need to just release that in podcast form straight away, so people have instant access to it. Sure.
Just because it's otherwise it's just like these great little tidbits of tips and tricks and things that are just sort of buried in some sort of to be put online at some later date. It'd be nice if everyone could just have access to it right away.
Well, that's also another option. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah. So that's
cool. That's my turn. So I would say something that happened this week that I think is interesting that I think everyone should know about is I had a conversation with Ilse Zemripa, and we made the special announcement that she is going to be one of our reviewers. So that is actually Samantha Youssef and Ilse are both going to be joining the ranks. They are not bookable yet, but they should be bookable soon. It's mostly just a matter of working out some of the little the last little details on getting them set up as reviewers. It's the only thing stopping us from actually making that go live. So I would suspect that that's going to happen probably pretty soon, definitely before the end of the month. So that's pretty cool. Actually, Marco Foglia. He's the guy who did the learning path. You'll see his learning path in a second, because my next, or not in a second, I'll let you go first, but I have an update about learning paths tonight as well. But he did the one on quadrupeds, and it's pretty cool because if you go through that little learning path and you want to do some of the exercises he suggests, then you could also even just reach directly out to him for having your work reviewed if you really wanted to start tackling quadruped, because he's got a lot of experience doing that, a lot of experience supervising that. So he'd be a pretty good guide to go down that road with. So pretty exciting stuff that we have more and more people showing up to be reviewers, and that just gives you more choices, so that's pretty cool. What's next on your list?
What is next on my list? So I think with the live reviews that we're having, I just want to give a little bit of an update, just to make sure that the footage is clean, and the links are not set to private. Because look, there's just so much going on, I might not get a chance. So if I click on a sync sketch and the link's set to private, then there's a fair chance that people are just going to miss out.
Right. This is for the Sunday night reviews.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, I just kind of want that little.
That's good. So it's just a little reminder to the community to make sure, double check your stuff, to make sure that if you're going to send the link in, if Scott doesn't have time to double check it, then it might be a little awkward when I get to it and I can't review it. Also, in that same vein, I would also suggest that everyone remembers to make sure that they have a clean version of the video for me to mark up, just because it's a little annoying when there's I don't mind, but it's just sometimes gets a little cluttered in there if I want to make any kind of drawovers or whatever. So just, make sure you, either send me a fresh sync sketch link or something like that just has, that's virgin from other people scribbling on it. That would be handy. And if you have more than one in there, then make sure that worked out really well last night. There was somebody who had a bunch of them, and they sent the note saying it's this one. So please, please do that.
Right.
Oh, you did. Oh, you did.
I was watching it back, and Brent's like, "Thanks for doing that," and I was like, "Yeah, you're welcome."
Yeah. In other words, thanks, Scott, for having your back. Yeah, please do that. Make sure you let me know, because I don't want to hunt around and find out which one it is, because sometimes it's super clear and it's just chronological the way you've named it, and sometimes I have no idea. So just make sure you let me know, and you just say that in the note. The form gives you the opportunity of sending a note to me so that I have a better idea as the context, like what specifically do you want help with, maybe, or or which video should I be looking at. That's your chance to sort of clarify things. So just put yourself in my shoes and ask yourself, what's Brent going to need to know, and then throw that information my way. It makes it go a lot faster.
But the response has been fantastic. Everyone's really enjoying it and loving the opportunity to have their stuff reviewed. So in fact, there's a lot of stuff. I've been getting a lot of good feedback from the community just through Instagram. The Richard Lico chat that we've got coming up.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be awesome. I love this guy. Yeah.
He
is. I'm such a fan of Richard Lico. He is like one of the nicest guys. He's so modest, so humble, and he is like life-changingly brilliant when it comes to his approach to animation. And so if you don't know who he is, you really do need to show up, because he is a titan in this industry. Just quickly, in case you don't know who he is, he was one of the main players behind players, meaning like one of the main stakeholders or contributors to Destiny. It was his last project over at Bungie. He was the one that was pushing to revolutionize the whole animation system to make a lot of that stuff possible. And so, so he's been working on some pretty big projects. He then left, and he now works at Polyarc, and he was one of the founding members. I don't know if he was one of the founding members. I don't know. I think we'll ask him tomorrow. I don't know exactly what his relationship is, but it was a startup where it was with just a small group of people. And the first game they put out was called Moss, which was a VR game, and it is awesome. If you have a VR headset, you should really check out Moss. It's very good. We'll be talking a lot about it tomorrow. Not tomorrow. What is it? Wednesday? Is our chart?
Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay. So, but yes. Long story short, show up to that, or at least watch the recording, because I think it's going to be a pretty good chat.
Yeah, as Lucho just said, he came out with a good course as well, and that's animation Sherpa. And some of the stuff, because when I was at Mr. X with Lucho, I saw some of them playing around with it, and man, some of the stuff that it's got is insane.
Yeah, it's going to come up tomorrow for sure. Animation Sherpa. It was he decided it was always bombarded. Like, he teaches at iAnimate. I don't know if he's doing it if he's still doing it, but he definitely was for years. That's how I met him. It was like a kind of an event with a bunch of iAnimate instructors. And he was always bombarded by people always wanting to know more about his workflow, so he decided to put a course together. And I think it's just the one singular course right now. He had bigger plans, but his life kind of got a little bit busy. And he kind of just said it's going to have to stay like this for a while. I think we could talk about it tomorrow, but I'm curious what his future plans are. But that one course that's there is really, if you're ever, if tomorrow whets your appetite, or if you're already interested in knowing more about the way he actually works, I highly recommend taking that course. Just type in Animation Sherpa; it should come up. That's essentially his school that he built, and you can sort of go to the church that he built, which is
the Church of Lico.
The Church of Lico, and his animation ways. Thank you, Mucho. That's it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. Okay, good. So that's good. So yeah, please do come to that chat. It's going to be great. I'm glad that people are happy about the streams. The live stream thing is fun to do. You might notice that I tend to be very to the point when I watch these reviews. That's kind of just my style. So prepare yourself for me just telling you everything that you need to hear. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna pat your back softly while I'm just gonna tell you. So if you want to learn and you want to have someone kind of tear it open and look at what's going on inside, then please do show up. Because I'm not trying to do it to be mean. I figure that's what you're coming for. You want someone to take a look at it and give you some feedback. So that's what I'm going to send your way.
It's really important to not take that sort of stuff to heart, I find, because how else are you going to learn? If you do get someone that does pat your back a bit, and anyone that watches these streams knows that, deep inside you're a puppy dog, Brent.
Depending.
You don't mean any harm by it.
Only grumpy Brent. He's not so much of a puppy dog, but he's all bark, no bite. So there's no big worry
there. Yeah. But no, it's an awesome way to be able to take on that feedback and criticism and get better, because you're not going to get better unless sometimes
exactly. Exactly. And that's what I'm there for. I'm not going to, I wouldn't, it'd be a waste of my time if I was going and just being like, hey, that's really great. Good job. When really there's a bunch of things you could work on. And I'm not trying to give the impression right now that I feel like people are taking it wrong. It's just that I'm always aware. And you actually made a comment the other day that, wow, like you're to the point. And I just get in that mode. And, but truth be told, like, just know that I have respect for anybody who's brave enough to put themselves out there and just ask for feedback, especially live in front of everybody. I think you are awesome for doing it. And because it proves to me that you're definitely hungry for the feedback, because you really want to grow. And so I think you can really learn a lot from some of the people that are putting themselves out there, because you don't, what you want, what I think you need is for sure just feedback, plain and simple. Like, someone needs to take it, like an unbiased party looking at it that has some experience, look at your animation and really just tell you what you need to hear. So that's what I'm trying to do on those Sunday nights. So if you want some of that, you want to be a part of it, just fill out the form, and you could be the next contestant on the Brent will tear your animation into little bitty pieces show.
Yeah. And I think you did mention on that last stream that the names are in a backlog. What I do every week is I just go to this wheel of names and put in the list, and it'll give me three names. And so I know we kind of originally spoke about people have to reapply, but I haven't worried about that. I've just been leaving their names on the list.
Cool. And, just from that initial form fill out, like it's just they keep coming in. Okay. Okay. So you're just always coming from the same spreadsheet that just keeps building. Is that basically what you're doing?
Yeah, exactly. I'll just go into that form. I'll remove the names that we review, and then,
good.
I'll just update the list, and so eventually your name will come up.
Yeah, it'll happen eventually for sure. And I think what I'd like to do in maybe down the road is, I think it'd be fun if we had other ways of maybe mixing it up, so you have more opportunities to maybe get picked. For instance, like maybe maybe we could have other contests of some sort that just automatically wins you a seat at that show, so you don't have to worry about being selected randomly. We've also started talking a little bit about potentially having group sessions that are having more people involved, but it may cost money, but it would be cheaper than sort of a one-on-one review. There's a bunch of ideas we're throwing around because we see that there's an appetite for it. We're interested in trying to make sure that we can do it in a way that's extremely accessible. Obviously, free is about as accessible as it gets, but free also comes with its own challenges. So on this side of the equation, so basically, we're playing around with ideas because at the end of the day, I just want everyone to have feedback, because that's where I think you're all going to get better, is by hearing from somebody how you're doing. You want someone to be able to tell you what's up.
Yeah, and if you do want your name pulled out of the hat for a Sunday night review, I'll put my PayPal details in the chat, and it'll guarantee you a spot.
That's it. We'll call it a tip jar, right? If you think exactly. Scott's doing a really good job, then you can just show your appreciation in
it'll be a silent auction. The person that bids the most will get their shot. All right, what do we got next?
Okay, now no one is ever going to trust us again. Good job, Scott. Okay, so next one, I guess, is my turn, huh? So I have a little demo I'm going to show you guys, and I'm going to have to share my screen here for a second. Give me a second to set that up. Okay, you should see a website right now. Let me do this. Here we go. All right, so basically, we talked about this a little while ago. Sort of the aspect ratio. It's kind of annoying, but it'll be a quick demo anyways. It's going to give you the basic idea. I hope you probably can't even read the text, but you'll get the idea just by me pointing at the screen. So basically, the idea here is a playlist. We talked about this a long time ago. It's something we've been working on for a while, and Pat, the magician behind the scenes, has come up with a pretty good first pass on this. This is still a work in progress. Hasn't become live yet, but it will be coming live soon. I just want to give you a bit of a preview. So basically, basically the things like learning paths, and we're going to use this for more than learning paths, but learning path is the obvious use case for this. Playlists make it so that you can actually easily click the playlist, and then what you'll get is something that looks a little like this. It's a preview window here. If I hit play, it's just going to start going through all the actual individual videos that are associated with that. But you could also just go ahead and skip to any one of these videos that are in the playlist in order. And you can also, it'll start tracking just like YouTube. You'll have a little red bar, so you kind of know where you left off. So you can sort of easily kind of pick up where you were before. So if you find the playlist in the library, like for usual, it'll have a different graphic, much like YouTube playlists. When you hover over them, it has like a kind of an overlay that automatically you could see that it's actually a playlist, not a video. And it launches and it looks a little bit like this. So it's basically what we want to do. We're going to add to this. There's going to be more functionality here. Eventually, even links to files. So if there's files that are suggested for downloading for a particular learning path, then you'd have access to those here as well. So it's a first pass, but it's actually pretty exciting because it means that I've been holding off on putting more learning path content on the website just because I really didn't like the way it was difficult to access, and it was a little confusing, and there were some problems with some of the naming. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of cleanup on all of that and making sure that more learning paths are showing up. That's going to be one of my biggest focus for the next few months, is more learning paths. I'm thinking about doing some of my own. So I really want to start putting some intro level stuff, like foundational skills to animation in here, which will be really nice for those of you who are new to this and are really inspired by all this talk of animation, and you kind of have a hard time knowing where to start, because it's difficult to just like jump in and start watching some of these tutorials that you're seeing on our website that might be a little bit too advanced for you. So basically, we want to sort of try to give you some guidance on how to not feel like you're new anymore. So basically, look forward to a bunch of those. I would call Marco's learning path, the intro to quadrupeds, probably intermediate to not quite advanced, but it's definitely not a beginner workshop, because it would be weird to start right away doing quadrupeds. That would be a pretty high bar to reach for. So look for more intro level stuff, because I think that's where I think most of the people that would want learning paths are probably newer to animation than the veterans. I think the veterans probably know enough about what they want to know, and they could just sort of cherry pick out of the library the kind of things that they want, and then they can watch it and learn and then apply it to their work, where it's not so easy for people who don't have enough perspective yet on all of the things. So yeah, this is to make things a lot easier, I think, for making these kind of learning paths. It's also going to allow us to make curated playlists. So Agora, we can people like me and Scott can go through some of the our favorite, for instance, like you could be like Scott's playlist, his favorite like videos for the month or whatever, and really I can have. Cool. Yeah, and we could just make those sort of like the way you would do it on like Apple Music or whatever. So it's sort of like kind of giving a spotlight and like giving people like, it's like an editorial pass. It's like, we think these videos are really cool, like recommended watching. We can also start finally leveraging some of the metrics we have on the site. So you have these thumbs up and thumbs down on the on these videos. If you start using those, which I highly recommend, because we are tracking that, we can start using that to even eventually start making playlists for you as an individual down the road. So we could start doing what Netflix does and start to understand the kind of stuff you're looking for. And we can start being like, ta-da, this is our automatically machine learning generated playlist that we've created for you, because I just threw in as many tech terms in there in catchphrases that I could in one sentence. And you can sort of hopefully get treated to a bunch of things that you're probably interested in. We're not YouTube. We're not Google. We don't have bazillions of dollars to put on R&D to make these algorithms perfect. Yet. Just wait for it. Give us a little bit of time, and hopefully we'll get to the point where we can build up a little bit and have this get better and better over time. But I can only imagine the cool uses for playlists. It's just nice to be able to. Now, another cool thing about this is we're going to let you also get access to these playlists, so you can make your own playlists. So if you want to make a playlist and you want it to be like Lucio's cool playlist, and make that available to the community, then that's also something down the road that we want to be able to do. I think that that's a really cool way of sort of sharing content and resharing content in interesting ways, the same way that music channels like Spotify do it and like Apple Music does this. It's just it just makes a lot of sense, because it's if I recognize Lucio as a very standout member of the community, and he's always got really interesting points or really good questions during streams, I'm like, I trust Lucio. He's got good things to say. I want to see what he thinks are good videos to watch. Then that would be something that you'd be able to do. No pressure, Lucio. No pressure, buddy. You'll be the first beta tester. You're going to make all the first playlists, and they better be good, buddy. That's all I got to say. They better be good. Okay, so that's mine. That's my big update. Your turn.
Beautiful. Geez, this will probably be my last one. I think this is okay. Now, TikTok. I tried a couple of weeks ago. I put out our first TikTok.
That's cool. How did it go?
Yeah, I think it went okay.
Yeah, like how many views? Like, are we doing like? I mean, is it
a bazillion? We're monetizing, and
we're all rich. We're gonna move the operations to some island in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly. We can.
You'll never find us
right now. Yeah. But it's Tabitha has just sent me a whole bunch of stuff that she's found.
Okay.
Work, so cool. It's still a well that I'm trying to tap into.
It is an interesting one. It'd be cool to crack that code, because
it would, and I kind of feel it's a generational thing as well. Because me, let's be honest, I just turned 39 last week, and I'm like, I don't get it. Still. And I don't think I want to be in front of the camera like doing some like dance moves and all this sort of stuff. So well, I mean, I don't know, like, I mean, maybe you can, but well, I mean, I don't know if people want to watch that. We'll see. I do. I guess. Well, that's nice. Audience of one. I got one follower. Oh, it's just Scott. Jesus. Yeah. It's I think that happy belated, Scott, says Lucio. Thanks, Lucio.
Yeah. When did that happen? That was just like last week?
Yeah, it was last Wednesday.
Oh, man. Nice. Happy birthday. I didn't even know.
Thanks, man. That's right.
Welcome.
You don't check Slack. That's why.
No, so I'm like, I'm very slack at Slack, unfortunately. I was just talking to David about this today. I actually saw David in person today, if you can believe it.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. How long? When? I don't remember. I think the last time I saw him in person was 2 years ago.
Yeah. I was just trying to test I was looking at that TikTok video, and it's like,
okay. I was like wondering what's happening. He's
like, I like TikTok. I like watching TikTok, but it's just like, all right, sorry, I mean, go on.
I got TikTok is, I feel like I'll be curious to see if we can find a type of format that like gets noticed with the kind of content that we put out there, because it seems like TikTok people like it's it's very lowbrow. People are just looking for a cheap laugh, and that's why TikTok is funny. And so it's I don't know. We'll see. It'd be cool if we can crack that code though.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to the David thing. It was weird to see David because it's been so long, because we see each other a lot during the week, but it's always over camera. Yeah, it was funny. We were in his backyard, and last time I saw him was at his, because he always has like this. His birthday is in June, and he usually has a party, and that's usually when I see him. But he hasn't had one of those parties for the last couple of years for obvious reasons. And it was good to see him. It was nice to share some space with the one and only.
That's right.
But yeah, I was telling him about Slack and how it could just be like, when you get to the point where you're just so overwhelmed that it's sort of like, it just becomes like a mountain that you're just like, I just don't know. Yeah. So I keep saying I'm going to kind of catch up on it. And anyways.
Well, I find that as well. There's just so many multiple threads that can happen. And I mean, at one studio we were using Teams, which I found a lot better, but Slack is, yeah.
The problem with Slack is it's almost too much. It's like, it's nice because they're live conversations and it's, it's like, I find it's like, it's in context and there's like, you can like have threaded replies and it's really great. Yeah. But if you belong to too many servers, first of all, and you're and there's too many channels, then what ends up happening is you start to lose faith. Like and people are a little bit, I think it takes discipline is what it comes down to. Teams have to have the discipline to only say at channel when it's like they need everyone in the channel to be listening. But sometimes people overuse it and sometimes they underuse it. And so sometimes you just don't know when you need to be checking in. And so, I mean, I don't know. And I crossed that threshold where I feel like I got so behind that now it's like, how do I even catch up? But next week I am slotted to actually, believe it or not, get caught up because I'll have a little bit of time to spend on that, which will be nice.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Awesome. All right.
So I guess, is that it? Is that all our updates? I think that's all my updates. I mean, we talked about the new reviewers. We talked about the podcast.
Yep.
We talked about the learning path, the playlists. We talked about TikTok.
Yep.
We talked about the stream, the feedback. Yeah, I guess it's all the things.
Yeah.
Cool. Did anybody have any questions before we wrap things up?
I think I saw one from Lucio earlier.
Oh yeah, question. Brent, what is the best way to contact me personally? you cannot. There's a restraining order. Remember, Lucio? God, you just.
Yeah. Well, before he was asking me, he's like, "Are you still training? And where are you now?" It's like, "Are you trying to start stalking?"
I think maybe.
Just because we all shave our heads, it doesn't mean that,
Yeah, that's it. Does it mean you're like, bros for life? Or maybe it does. Who knows?
Probably. I think so.
Lucio, to answer your question, LinkedIn works. You can get me there. I think we're already on LinkedIn together. That's probably the best way to get me. I think you're on my Facebook too, aren't you? You can always get me there. And yeah, Scott, so where are you these days? And are you still working out?
Yes, I am. I was up this morning at the gym. So gym is my first thing in the morning. And when I say first thing, it's like 4 a.m. or anywhere between 4 a.m. and 4:30. I'll get there.
That is a dedication I'll never understand.
I have to look, it wears me out throughout the day and I'm trying to find that balance, but I'm just so impressed. That I can't go after work. I can't go when the gym's busy.
It's like,
I have to
the only time.
Get in there, get my workout done, use the machine I need to use, and then catch later. So yeah, I'm
impressed. I wish I had
cultivated
that kind of
it didn't start off too good. I mean, I remember the I get to 3:30 and I'm just like falling asleep at my desk. It's just like,
oh yeah, in the afternoon for sure. You just
I was so unproductive at work. It wasn't good. But it's finding that balance. But it's super important, especially sitting at a desk all day unless you've got a standing desk. And
this is my problem. I do have a standing desk, but I don't use it nearly enough. I just need to use it more. But it's also I just like exercise. I need to find a way. I was riding my bike a lot. I have a stationary bike. Well, I have my actual bike that I bought a smart trainer to put on. So in the wintertime, I can actually get some exercise down in the basement. but you need to make time for it, and it's stupid because it's so, I mean, I have it situated. I have no excuse. I have it sit like right in front of the TV. I can watch a movie, get caught up on TV and just sit there biking. Like what better way to do it? Like, I mean, but the problem is, if you got stuff, you got like, and then next, you're looking at your watch, it's like, it's 3. And it's like, I'm not going to bike at 3. So it's like, what you're doing makes sense. It's like, you're like, no, I'm going to do it the first thing in the day. And that way it gets done. There's no way. I'm not even allowed to do anything else until I train.
Yeah,
and there I can check that box and feel like I've conquered something important that day. So you might be tired, but you probably feel like, in a way, probably awesome because you're getting that training in.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And just, it helps, I've got some certain goals that I want to hit now, before the big 4-0. And I just realized that that's it. I have to get it done. And that was with animation, studying animation as well. When I was working in another job that wasn't animation, I was like, animation is the most important thing to me right now. First thing I do when I get up, I animate for like an hour, because then that way it's done when I get home from work. And again, that was probably like, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Just get it out the way. At least then when I get to the end of my work day, I know that I've already put that time in on my reel, and anything after that is just like bonus. So
that's awesome. That's good advice. I think it's important. We've talked about this a few times in the past, and I know that I'm the one who usually offers up the fact that I have way too many hobbies, and so it's hard to know which ones to do, and so you just end up being paralyzed. But just picking one and being like, look, I had some success back in months ago when I tried out scheduling, blocking out times at night where I'm like, okay, this is your gaming night. You're allowed to, without any guilt. You could play whatever games for 3 hours and then go to bed if you want to. Like, the girls are in bed, play some games, burn out, fall asleep, wake up the next day. But then the next night, it's like, this is your night for getting caught up on whatever. And this, the next night would be, you want to keep learning Blender, make some time for it. That Thursday night is the day that you do it. It's like, by having themes and not trying to do all of the things, and then always be like, okay, at some point I can swap the Blender out for something else. I could start learning DaVinci Resolve, which has been on my list for quite a while now, because for the same reason that Blender, I feel like the industry's shifting away from these overly expensive subscription models and going towards software that are equally, or in some cases better, and they're free. So it's like, I know that change is happening. And we also, I figure if I can learn some of these things, I can start doing some workshops for people for Agora community, because then people can learn how to do these things too, and how to apply them into an animation workflow would be kind of ideal. So making time for it is the key. So it looks like that sounds like what you did. And I think that's what everybody kind of needs to do. Schedule it.
Well, yeah, that's it. If it's scheduled, then, and there's a lot of people that do talk about that. Jim Rohn, one of the great motivational speakers, said, scheduling to renew your reserves is different to just, relaxing. Relaxing to renew your reserves is different to just like relaxing to like waste time kind of thing. Like, it's an important thing. It's something I need to learn to do myself, is schedule in that relaxing time, because I'm like, from the moment I wake up to the time I go to bed, there's always something on. I know you can understand
I can relate.
that. Absolutely. So yeah, you really got to make time for it.
Yeah. And it's interesting because there's a difference between just like having nothing scheduled versus like, no, like you are like I said, like I love playing games, and I often feel guilty to do it because I'm trying to squeeze it in when I shouldn't, or I'm like trying to put it in really late at night because I'm just like, I haven't played in like weeks. And instead, like, if it's important enough to you and it's a way of unwinding and recharging, and then also reinvigorating your love for games, if that's what you're working on, because that's, that's primarily what I do these days. It's important to keep up with these things. And it could even be argued that professionally it's kind of important, because you don't want to be that person who's in the meeting room and people are brainstorming about like what new feature should be. And everyone's like, oh, like just like in God of War. And you're like, I never played God of War. I can't believe I'm such an idiot. And it's just like, it's fine when there's some obscure game that nobody else has played, but when they're talking about these big milestone games that everyone always references, it's always a good idea to play them, just because that way you can connect with what people are talking about. You're like, oh yeah, totally. And then we could do this, this, and this, because that was really awesome in that game. And they're like, yes, exactly. And then you could be part of that flow. It sucks when you feel like you're not. So I think playing games really does end up being kind of homework in this business, which is not bad. People often make crack jokes and think that, playing, making games is like, that's all you do is play games all day, which I wish was true. You need to find time for it on the side. because there's not a lot of time during the day to.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll be starting. It'll be like you're in the conceptual phase of a game, and part of you're doing some R&D. So they have a bunch of reference games. So you're going to damn well play those at work. It happens all the time, but it won't be like that all the way through the production, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Patar did ask, what about bingo shirts?
Yes. Oh yeah. I was on my list. Okay. So we do have some news on this. So we didn't get a lot of entries, but we do have something, and it's going to be unveiling itself very, very soon. But we do have some traction on this, believe it or not. I mean, everyone's going to have a heart attack when this actually happens, but it is. And in the same vein of thought, you might be wondering what about that trophy? Oh, Veronica. It is absolutely. Veronica can vouch, and Veronica has to take a lot of credit for this because she was the one that made some magic happen to get us some traction. So I'm excited about that. The trophy is still a work in progress. Full disclosure, I think I said this before. I ran out of steam. I have this. The stuff is like, it took a while to get the prints done, and then the prints I've had the prints for about a month, maybe a little bit more. The problem is that my laser cutter had some problems. So I had to like disassemble the thing, and I'm handling this big CO2 laser tube, and it's not a trivial thing to fix. It's the alignment was all off. So I was printing some test cuts, and the tolerances were bad, and it was a mess. And it's annoying because it's been flawless up to this point. So of course, when I really, really need it for a really big project, it's not working the way it is, but I have confidence that it's going to be okay. I just need to put it all back together now that I've cleaned all the lenses and stuff. And so the good news is I am documenting it. So the wait will be hopefully well met with some fun footage as I start to slowly unveil the trophy. But it's going to be pretty awesome. It will definitely be worth the wait because it's already awesome, and it's going to get even better. I promise. Some people on the team have seen some quick shots of it, and it already looks pretty cool the way it is now. But
yeah,
so far from done. Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. So I have to reach out to David because David I can't remember how to pronounce his last name. He was the winner of the solo challenge, and he's the one that's getting this trophy. I have to reach out to him and let him know that I haven't completely forgot about his trophy. It's been a while, so. David, if you're out there somewhere, it's coming, buddy. I promise. I will die before I actually end up not delivering this to you. So that's it. David Kuvas. Thank you, Veronica.
Beautiful.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't think there's any other questions.
Well, there is one more. Patar's asking, who's taller, you or David?
Me or David?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, I'm taller for sure. I'm 6'3.5", so I tend to tower. Oh yeah. People don't know this, and they meet me in person. They're like, "What the hell? How the hell is that even possible?" And it's because the cameras are deceptive. You don't. If I had a wide angle camera and I was running around my room a bit more, you could maybe sort of get a sense of scale. It maybe it would be less surprising, but yeah. Okay. I mean, that's not that tall. It's funny being a tall guy because when you are somewhere and out of the corner of your eye, you catch something, you're like, what the? When someone's taller than you and you're 6'3.5", it is usually an event because it's not often. 6'3.5" is on the very, very tall end of tall. And so anything beyond that, like if you're 6'5" or 6'7" or something like that, like basketball height, it is always like, what the hell is that? And it really floors me when it's a woman, because that's even more rare for a woman to be that tall. And I just feel so teeny weeny next to these taller people. And because I don't normally feel like that. It's so weird. I walk around feeling all tough and special all day, and then somebody dwarfs me.
Yeah, I worked with a guy that had to duck under door frames.
Oh, that's impressive. Because door frames are a good, they're almost 7 feet.
Yeah. He was just huge.
Wow. I'm just looking at my door frame now thinking, Jesus, to think that he'd be taller than that. That's impressive. Yeah. Awesome. So there you go. That's the answer to that question. David's not a short guy. I don't know what he is. He's not 6 foot though. I think he's probably about 5. I would guess it maybe 5'9", 5'10", probably, maybe. I don't know. We'll ask him. Bring it up next stream. Put him on the spot.
Q&A. The next Q&A.
Right. Actually, he's not going to be in the next Q&A.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah, he's not going to. Oh, okay. So that's something we could talk about really quick, just for fun before we leave. Yes, David is away next week. So I'm going to be running the streams, but I'm going to bring it on. either two different guest appearances or maybe one person, both streams. I have to, the one person in question, I have to ask him if he can do two, just because I think it'd be fun to have him twice. So I can already confirm he's going to be there for sure the Q&A. So I'm going to let you all know now, and we should probably advertise this on social for people that might want to make a special point of showing up to the next Q&A.
Yeah.
He is a very experienced technical animator. You've heard me talk a lot about how if you really want a job in games and you're an animator, and a good way to kind of get an edge on the competition is to show your technical prowess and start learning more about an engine. It could be Unity, it could be Unreal, because there's a gigantic shortage of those people. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to get stuck in a position where you can't animate. It just means that you're added value to a company. So if you're a good animator and you know these things, they are for sure going to consider you before anybody else. Even someone who's a better animator than you, they're going to get more value out of you than they will the other person. So you're going to get a huge advantage. And there is a quickly growing vacuum that's forming, because there's just not enough of these types of people who know how engines work and how to use animation in the engine, how to apply it and implement it in creative ways. There are unicorns. We can't find enough of them. So basically become a unicorn is what I'm saying. And so I'm going to bring him on so people can have questions about it. How did he get where he is now? What steps did he take to learn it? What does it mean? What's his basic job look like? He might come. I told him he could bring, because he was asking me what to prepare, and I'm like, nothing really. It's just a Q&A. But he might bring a couple little demos just for fun, just to show you how quick it is to do some interesting things in Unreal. And then we might have him back for the as a co-host for Richard Lico, who's going to be coming later this week. So we'll see. Or I'll do it by myself. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay.
Just on that about becoming a unicorn as well, Brent. I'm going to upload the video soon. But for anyone that didn't see it, check out the conversation that these guys just had with Lance Lafort, because there is some gold in there about just what you can do to just become really valuable to a company and just stick around, He was talking about that one of the guys, the studio didn't know how to use Ancloth or something. So this guy was a junior, went home and just hit the forums. How do I do this in Ancloth? How do I do that? He became the Ancloth specialist.
That's
and
it.
the client from Disney was just like, this is my guy.
He went from like junior nobody animator to like superstar status, and all it took was for him to be aware enough to watch or like look around and look for holes, to be resourceful enough to just fill that hole is all he needed to do. And because nobody else was, everyone's just busy doing their thing and being like, yeah, it's too bad we don't have any cloth people around here. And then he's like, I'm going to be that guy. And he did. And it's a legendary story, but that is a really great mentality to have, especially when you're starting out. You want to be someone who's showing up at a job interview as someone who looks like they can put lots of fingers in lots of different types of dam holes. Like they want someone who can be versatile is really key. And even when you get in the door, you can also then stand out amongst your peers by continuing to do that and adding more skills to your sort of skill set. And just be a hero, man. Be a unicorn. Be a hero unicorn. Be both of those things. That's it. You heard it here first. Be a unicorn.
Dress like one.
That's right. Okay.
All right.
Well, with that said, I will see hopefully some of you around for tomorrow night and for our Wednesday chat with Richard. Maybe I don't know if we'll see you, Scott, because you're probably working at those times, I would imagine.
Yeah, usually, but I might throw you guys on in the background if I'm not lip syncing.
Yeah, sounds good. But I mean, otherwise, we're gonna try to make these update videos every 2 weeks is what we're planning on doing. So we'll see you for sure in a couple weeks, Scott. So until then, otherwise, if I see you before that, great, lucky me. But otherwise, I'll see you in this same bat channel in the same bat time.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, everyone.
See you, everybody.
See you later.